And there's the brick. Theory of the telepathic mechanism.
Telepathy. That's not really it, but similar.
So they're testing telepathy on this ship.
I guess so.
So, what exactly did they have you guys do?
The same thing we're doing now. Exactly the same.
What?
The nunnery game. 9 people were put on this boat, 9 in a building in Nevada. The game started.
Jinpei grabbed the sides of his head. Look, I'm sorry, but I don't get it. What do the nonary game and some telepathy experiment have to do with each other?
The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple things. First is epiphany, the other, danger. You know how sometimes when you're up against a really tough problem, then the answer just kind of pops into your head? The epiphany. What you learn from the epiphany can be transmitted with telepathy. When you add danger, it gets easier.
So you're saying the nonary game was supposed to induce that element of danger?
Exactly, but it couldn't be any old danger. It had to be something that threatened your life. And someone did actually die. A girl.
Jinpei felt the sudden grip of despair on his heart. Something deep, distant, powerful. And for a moment, he felt empty. Alone.
She was on the boat with my brother. When I was in Nevada, I never met her, but I heard her name. It was,
Oh, my apologies. I seem to have disturbed you. Ace, you two must have strong stomachs. I can't imagine how you can stay in a room for so long. Ace glanced at the floor. At the corpse, rather. At any rate, Junpei, would you be so kind as to come and help me with something? I'm having a little trouble, and I could really use your assistance. Come on, it'll only take a moment. Clover waited until he was out of sight, then spoke in a small, quiet voice.
I don't want Ace to hear us. We can talk about this later.
Hey, wait! From outside, Junpei could hear Ace calling. Junpei! What are you doing in there? Hurry up! Grumbling to himself, Junpei stomped off. Oh look, a hook. That wasn't a joke. I know, man. Alright, there's the ink. There's the poo drivers. So let's drive some poo. Ink that up. And I'm trying to remember where the slip of paper was. Hey look, Ace, it's a model of a steam train. How on earth did you arrive at that conclusion? Ace, look, it's a monkey with glasses. Some things in this game. Just some things in this game. It's a chair. If I sit in it, will you let me be the chairman? No. Oh. Sometimes funny things happen if you examine something multiple times in a room. It depends on the item. Ah, there's the paper. An early communications device. Hey look, Ace, there's a big-ass rat stuck in this trap. I told you, that's a telegraph key. It's a device that transmits messages through Morse code. A telegraph key, there's no cheese on it, though. Okay, that's funny. And give me this notebook and key. Alice. Junpei couldn't hold back. He had to know what was in the file. Each page was covered in strange characters, much like tiny drawings of birds, snakes, insects, horned animals, wings, and even kneeling humans. There were many pages. Each was full of these strange symbols. The hell? These are hieroglyphs, a form of writing used in ancient Egypt. Can you read them? Of course, I can't. What would make you think I could? The hell? Every single page was covered in hieroglyphs. Trying to read them was pointless. He made to close the file and something fell out. A key card. A key card for your butthole. Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the Forest of Knowledge, beneath the navel of the Gigantic. Did beneath the navel mean bottom deck? Did Forest of Knowledge mean the library? If it did, maybe Alice was in a room somewhere beyond the library. What's wrong? Junpei blinked. Only then did he notice Ace looking at him, curiosity and concern written across the face in equal parts. There was no reason for Junpei to hide his thoughts. He explained his theory. Then he stopped. It wouldn't make any sense if Ace didn't know who Alice was supposed to be. So he told Ace everything Jun had told him. About the Egyptian priestess, Ice 9, and All Ice, or Alice. And at that, English millionaire, Lord Gordain. And how Gordain had hid Alice somewhere on the ship. And you think he hid her in the small room beyond the library on the bottom deck? Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess so. I see. Ace stared off into the distance, his hands slowly and absentmindedly stroking his beard. After a few moments, he stopped and looked to Junpei. Brows drew together. Junpei, have you ever heard of the term CAS? What? Cells Alive System. It's an advanced technology for freezing and preserving organic matter. Put simply, it's a technique that allows one to freeze things without the formation of ice crystals. Normally, if you freeze something fresh, water within its cells expands as it crystallizes, damaging the cell membrane. CAS works differently. The object is to be frozen as supercooled using magnetic fields, then frozen instantly and uniformly, giving ice crystals no time to form. It was originally developed for the preservation of food as an alternative to the normal freezing process. Now, however, there are rumors it can be used for other things. Meaning, well, there are obvious medical uses, but perhaps space travel. Space travel? Are you serious? Surely you've heard of suspended animation, cryogenic freezing. It's a fairly common idea in science fiction books and films. People are sometimes frozen for especially lengthy journeys through space. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on, hold on. Are you saying Alice was frozen using that cast thing? Well, I'm certain the possibility is quite low, but it is a possibility. If the special ice you call Ice 9 does indeed exist, and if casts were used to freeze her into that sort of ice instantaneously, she could be alive. Well, I can't say for certain, of course. I'm only talking about possibilities. The melting point for Ice 9 is 96 degrees, right? If she were put somewhere where she could reach that temperature... That's nuts. Are you really saying she could have defrosted and started walking around? You're quite right. It does sound unbelievable. But if she had, we would have an explanation for the man found dead on the floor. What, the guy dressed like a captain? Yes. He was dead when we found him. Clearly he was murdered. But if he was murdered, then by who? It couldn't have been one of us. That would have been impossible. To enter the captain's quarters, one must first open door 1. That door that requires the Earth key that prevented us from accessing door 1. Who was it that opened the door? Santa and Lotus. Right. Clearly, the two of them couldn't have opened door 1, or any door for that matter. Who else, then, could have done so? Well, nobody. After Santa and Lotus had used the Earth key, they turned back and met up with us when we'd returned to the E deck. The 4 of us then went to the hospital room to reunite with you, Seven, and Clover. When I went into the shower room, Ace, Seven, and Clover were left in the hospital room, but they couldn't have opened door 1. I mean, maybe when I was in door 2 with June, but that's impossible. No one could have run to the captain's quarters, killed him, and returned in 5 minutes. It would be impossible for any of us to be the murderer. That being the case, who could have killed him? Wouldn't it make sense if his killer was someone who had been in the ship for some time? A person like that would know the ship well. They would know the locations of all the hidden passages and secret doors. The numbered doors would mean nothing. It would be a simple matter for them to enter the captain's quarters, kill the captain, and leave. So the killer you're saying is... Alice. Ace drew his thumb across his lips thoughtfully. Well, this is all only one possible theory. Was Alice indeed somewhere on the ship then? Junpei had only one clue. The key card for his butthole, which could access the Forest of Knowledge. But beyond that, what awaited him there? Whoever might be there would have to wait, though. At the moment, there was nothing he could do. He gripped the keycard tighter and shoved it into his pocket. Okay, so... I believe Z was 35. E... is 14. R... Actually, thinking about it, I'm pretty sure I recorded a note in my phone. Because I remember, like, we need to go through these doors at least a few times, so I did take a couple notes. There we go, 27-24. Huzzah! They stepped out of the captain's quarters into another hallway. It stretched out in front of Junpei for a bit before turning left. He ran for quite some time, and at the end, met a door. He was nearly halfway to the door when he noticed a piece of paper on the floor. The hell was a piece of paper doing in a hallway? Seems the paper was a map, specifically for the A deck. What's wrong? Ace, slightly slower by virtue of age, had finally caught up. Junpei said nothing, showed Ace the map. I see. With that, he ran again. Junpei shoved the map into his pocket and got up to follow, but something stopped him. Wait, where's Clover? Damn it, what the hell is she up to? As Junpei stomped around the corner, Clover was standing in front of the door to the captain's quarters, hand on the doorknob. She closed it gently and quietly. The hell are you doing?
Nothing.
What do you mean, nothing? Clover had unconsciously put her hands over the pockets of her jacket, as if trying to hold something. And what's that?
What?
You've got something in your pocket. What is it?
Oh, this is... a note? I found it in the pocket of the guy with the captain's clothes. Something about the darkness of the sinister hand?
The hell? From the other end of the hall, he heard Ace. Hey, Junpei! Clover! What are you two doing? Hurry up!
I'll show it to you later. We need to hurry.
A note. Junpei was curious, but there was something else that bothered him. Her pocket had been bulging, far more than from just a note. Junpei did his best to convince himself it'd make sense later, and ran after Clover. Just what he'd expected to see after reading the map. Ace had probably realized the same thing, thinking about it. Junpei looked around, but Ace was nowhere to be seen. He put his hand on the rail, leaned over to look down. Everyone else was down there. They reached B deck at the same time.
Jumpy! Clover!
June's face was excited. Something had happened, that much Junpei could tell. What's up? Given their situation, he wasn't inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself.
We found it!
Found what?
It's the last door! Door 9!
What? Come on, follow us. We'll explain on the way. Okay, let's go.
We finally made it.
Relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each of them had felt. Yeah, it's finally time. Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they'd really done it. Not yet. Still, if everyone said it was door 9, it probably was. He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one. But there was something he couldn't get off his mind. The numbered door could only accommodate 3 to 5 people, and with 7 of them, that meant, even in the best-case scenario, 2 might have to be left behind. He didn't have any solutions to that problem yet, but he was desperately hoping someone would. Junpei looked over at the clock. Hands indicated it was 4:30. 90 minutes before their time was up. Hey, Junpei! June! The hell are you two doing? Hurry up! Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie.
Let's go, Jumpy.
Jin took off toward the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could. Junpei followed. As a group, they piled into the elevator, then rode impatiently down to the E-deck. It looked familiar. I know I told you I'd explain it earlier, but honestly, there ain't much to explain. After we split off from you guys, the 4 of us got onto the elevator on the left. That took us to the other side of the grate. After that, they'd head down another hallway. Took them toward the bow of the ship, and to the number 6 door. With 4, they'd been able to open it and keep going. As usual, they faced a locked door, but had been forced to complete 2 different areas before they could unlock it. Once they were through, there was another hall that went toward the stern. So on your way, you found the elevator. That's right. So in other words, you kinda did a lap, huh? Came from that side to this side. Yep. Where's the number 9 door, then? Over here. Follow me. 7 walked down the hallway that led toward the stern. Junpei and the others broke into a jog to keep up. They'd been walking for a while. June in silent step with Junpei when she spoke.
You know, it's because of Santa that we're all here.
Huh?
That all 7 of us are going to door 9. You don't get it? Santa, 7, Lotus? What's their route?
9?
That's right. They could have just left me behind and kept going.
But they didn't.
Yep. Santa wouldn't let them. He said we can't leave June behind. That's why we went looking for you guys. Then you got on the elevator and went back to the
Then you got back on the elevator and went to the central staircase.
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't have called that one. Santa would be the one to stick up for you, I mean. Junpei felt his eyebrows knit as he considered that.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Perhaps June had sensed Junpei's concern?
I didn't mean 7 and Lotus said they wanted to leave me behind. We were just talking about it, and Santa objected first.
Junpei was about to speak up, then 7 stopped. In front of a small door. Junpei couldn't see 7's face, but he could see him nod. There's no other place for us to go? Nope. Just look around. Let's get moving. He pulled open the door and walked in. Junpei took a breath and followed. It appeared they had been telling the truth. The first thing Junpei saw as he entered the room was the number 9. Like all the others, it was a rough thing made of paint. The door decorated sat on the back wall of a rectangular room. Junpei ran up to it. A large double door with a powerful styling. Something about it was almost majestic. It made the red paint look especially garish. Junpei grabbed the handle and shook. It didn't budge, but he hadn't really expected it to. The red was bolted to the wall next to the door. Vacant. They'd arrived. Junpei felt a flood of emotion wash over him. A chill down his back. His chest tightened as his blood boiled. He was about to speak when... Junpei, behind you! There was another 9 door. The hell? What's going on here? His words came slowly. His brain struggled to understand what he'd seen. On shaky legs, he made his way to the second 9. A small door parallel to the one they'd come through, in the other corner. No mistaking the number, and if any proof was needed, a red was bolted to the wall near the door. He grabbed the handle and shook, not because he expected it to open, but more because he wanted to make sure it was real. Why the hell are there two doors? Do you think perhaps this one, the one is the right door and the other is the wrong door? I don't know about that. That seems unlikely. What makes you say that? Think about all the rooms we've been in. They're full of puzzles, but there are always hints about how to solve them. I'm pretty sure there aren't any rooms where we just had to go with luck and leave it to instinct to solve the puzzle. You really think at the very end Zero is going to bait and switch us like that? Then you're saying there's some sort of hint in the room.
No, I don't think this room needs a hint. I searched it while I was here and I didn't find anything that had a hint.
That means... Yep, both of them are the right door. I mean, if you think about it, Zero didn't say that there was only one door. He just said seek a door with a 9. So if there are two number 9 doors, if we split it up right...
That's not gonna work. Mind if I borrow your notebook again? Look.
Clover opened the notebook to a blank page and set it down. Everyone else watched as she wrote down a series of numbers.
You get it? The numbers on the top are combinations with 9. The numbers on the bottom are those who don't fit. There are only 8 possibilities if we split into 2 groups of 3 or 4.
So if 3 people go through the door, 4 are left behind. If 4 go, 3 are left. The room went quiet. Silence lay across everyone like a thick, heavy blanket. No one spoke. Their faces were blank. Desperate for something else to look at, Junpei turned his eyes to the room around him. As he did, he wondered. What was this room? The walls were covered in candles. The wavering flame made the shadows of Junpei and his companions look like they were dancing. 2 rows of wooden pews. Between them, a strip of rich red carpet, which ran straight through the room and ended at the door pointing to the stern. At the other end, an altar? A recessed space set into the wall between the 2 other doors. Sitting on a raised section of the altar was a coffin. No, it couldn't be. But if it wasn't, whose body was in it? That was as far as Junpei wanted to pursue that line of thought. He decided not to think about the coffin for the moment. And at that moment, Seven spoke. An edge of humor to his voice, though forced. Okay, I give up. I figured if we sat around here long enough, someone would volunteer, but, I guess nobody's got the guts to do it. Junpei didn't understand. He was the only one. What? You guys didn't figure it out? Fine. Let me enlighten you. Clover was mostly right with her little explanation, but she missed something. She wasn't really wrong, just... screw it. Let me just write it out. Seven snatched up the notebook. If you're trying to leave with a group of 3 and a group of 4 and get everyone out, Clover's right. But there's another way. Only one combination, though. If you split us up into groups of 3, 3, and 1, you can make this combination. Wait, that means... Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to copy Ace or anything like that. Even if you hadn't been the hero back in the big hospital room, I'd still be saying the same thing.
The same thing? So...
Yeah. I'll stay behind.
Why are you acting so heroic all of a sudden?
Wait,
You some kind of idiot.
Lotus was the first to speak. That in itself was strange. She'd reacted much differently when Ace had volunteered.
I'm completely against this. I'll be goddamned if I'm going to have you to owe for getting out of here. I'm against it too. I don't want to leave Ace behind, and I don't want to leave you either. I don't like that idea. There needs to be another option.
I disagree as well. I can't say I care much for you being the hero. Well, there you go, 7. Proposal denied. Clover's right. There's gotta be a better way. 7 made some noise that was somewhere between a derisive snort and a cough. Doesn't make any sense. He was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Junpei could see the twinkling of water at the corner of his eyes. That's when 7 spoke. Hold on a minute, I haven't said anything yet. Until then, Junpei hadn't realized that Santa had stayed quiet for the whole discussion. Something in his voice made Junpei uncomfortable. Are you agreeing? You want to leave him here? Santa shook his head. Nah, I'm against it. I don't want to leave 7 here alone. I don't see how it matters. I said alone. I said I don't want to leave 7 alone. There was a dull shine in his eyes. They were cold, hard. Junpei felt himself shiver. The hell are you? What, you don't get it? I can't leave just one person. I need 2 more. 3 people, including 7. I'll be leaving behind 3 people. That's my proposal. No. Those are my orders. What? The hell makes you think you can order us around? Who the hell is gonna listen to you? All of you. In 3 seconds, you won't have a choice. What? 3, 2, 1. When he moved, it was almost like watching a dance. His feet, like lightning, he spun and... He had June. See? I told you. His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile. A shudder traveled the length of Junpei's spine. His chest froze, and he could feel his breath go stale. Nothing made sense. Junpei felt as though his head were about to explode. Santa's sudden change in attitude, saying that he needed 2 more. The gun in his right hand, a revolver. Santa had grabbed June from behind and pressed what Junpei's shaken brain identified as a revolver, roughly against her temple. Where the hell did he get a gun? Junpei's questions roared in his mind, his mouth shut. 7 spoke almost as though he had sensed Junpei's confusion. Guns from the other room. What are the rooms behind door 6? I should have known he was gonna do this. I should have taken it. Well, it's too late now, fat ass. Damn it. A mixture of fury and frustration twisted 7's face as he glared at Santa. For his part, Santa didn't flinch. The corner of his lip twitched into a slightly wider smile, which faded as he moved. He walked backward, dragging June with him. Before long, his back was resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red. He put his hand on the scanner quickly and forced June to do the same. Come on, time for you to start following my orders. Ace, Lotus, congratulations. I've chosen you to come with me. Put your hands on the red. Hey, you deaf? I gave an order. Santa's eyes narrowed to slits. He glared at Ace and Lotus. They stayed frozen like deer caught in the headlights of an oncoming car. Right. Fine. I didn't want to waste any bullets, but you guys just don't get it. His hand twitched, and the gun roared. A section of the floor exploded, scattering splinters. A thin plume of smoke snaked out from the hole. The gun was real. And loaded.
Why? Santa, why are you...
Clover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief.
I thought you were one of us. I thought we were friends.
What?
The leaf word. The four-leaf clover.
Santa's cheek twitched. How's that shit? I've got no idea.
You're lying.
Shut up! Shut up, you stupid bitch! You want me to put a bullet in your fucking head? Flecks of spit flew from Santa's mouth. His face twisted. Clover recoiled, eyes widened. When she spoke, her voice was small.
Santa.
He snorted, shook his head vigorously, turned to face Ace and Lotus. Alright, assholes. What are you still standing there for? Get over here and scan those bracelets. I don't have all day. Your hearing's starting to go? Going senile, maybe? They didn't move, almost like they couldn't. June's face was pale behind Santa's arm. Her eyes were wild, her chest heaved with every quick breath, like an animal cornered by a predator. Junpei's mind worked furiously. What were they gonna do? But then he realized. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to debate. June's safety was the first priority. Doing as Santa had commanded meant that she would be safe from at least 2 threats. She wouldn't be shot. She'd leave alive. There was only one thing for Junpei to do. And he turned to Ace and Lotus. Ace, go. But...
Jumpy, what are you saying? If you stay here, you're gonna be stuck. And so will Clover and Seven.
I know. But you don't need to worry about us. We'll figure something out. Right, Seven? Right. You just leave it to us. It's gonna piss me off to do what Santa says, but...
Don't worry about me either. There's still something I need to take care of. But... No! You can't! Ace! Lotus! Don't do it! Don't worry about me! Please!
Without a word, Junpei laid a hand on each of their backs and pushed them forward. They stumbled, then righted themselves, then took another step. And another. They eventually turned to Junpei. And then back to Santa and the Red. After an eternity, they stopped in front of the 9 door. Santa smiled. Alright, now let's get those hands on the scanner panel. What's the holdup? What, you think I'm fucking around here? I don't give a shit about this girl. Red doesn't need a person, you know? Just a bracelet. You get it? Good. Now put your fucking hands on the scanner. I'm not gonna say it again. Either you do it, or I kill all 3 of you. Fine. Ace sighed, defeated, and placed his hand on the panel. Lotus glared at Santa, slammed it next. The 4th asterisk blinked. Good job. Now Lotus, pull the lever. As soon as the door opens, you get your ass in there. Try anything stupid, and you know what happens. Junpei could almost hear Lotus's teeth grind. The door slid open. Door 9 opened, with a low, powerful rumble. A drum roll to welcome the chosen few. Alright, go. Lotus and Ace walked through, their eyes furious but defeated. Santa waited until they were all the way inside, then hauled himself and June across the threshold. 7, 8, 9. Later. The door shut. The air it created caused the candles on the altar to flicker and die. The room felt silent. Junpei, Clover, and Seven had been left behind. Clover looked down at her hand, traced with her finger the faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. Seven shoved his arms into the front of his overalls, scratched his stomach. No one spoke. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. Desperate for something, anything to occupy his mind, Junpei walked to the larger of the 2 doors. He stood in front of it and looked at the Red. Engaged. He moved to the smaller door. Vacant. The digital route of the remaining people was 7. There was no possible way for them to open a door with 9 on it, was there? Junpei touched the surface. He thought about June, Akane Kurashiki, and hoped she was safe. That was all that mattered. If she was alive, if she'd escaped this horrible boat. That was what Junpei wanted. 7 came up next to him, pulled off his hat, scratched his head, and sighed. So you want to do? What do you mean, what do I want to do? What can we do? Seven was about to speak when a noise echoed through the room. Someone was pounding on something, and it wasn't mechanical. The pattern was human. Junpei and Seven looked at one another. The hell?
Shh! Quiet!
Clover motioned to Seven to be quiet. She put a finger to her lips, closed her eyes. The three of them listened, trying to determine where the sound was coming from. Was it the coffin?
Let's open it.
The hell?
What are his muscles for? For show?
What, you're telling me to force it open?
Just shut up and try.
Junpei and Seven grabbed hold. They tried to get a good grip with what little purchase they could find, pull with all their strength. Damn it! Won't budge! There was some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. Its purpose wouldn't have been difficult to determine. Their eyes were almost immediately drawn to it. Not another one. Looks like it.
You think we have to put in the right password or something?
I think so. But the noise wasn't stopping. If anything, it was getting louder. They had no idea who was in the coffin, but they wanted out. Now. But what could they do? Without a passcode, there wasn't much they could do. They couldn't tell how many numbers were needed for the passcode, let alone the order.
Isn't there a hint or something?
Let's look for one. But there didn't seem to be anything near the coffin, or in the entire room even. The sound wouldn't stop. A noise that didn't belong to the room. What was the passcode? What was Junpei supposed to do? How could he figure it out? He needed something. Eventually, as you play, you're supposed to reach this ending. Or should I say, not an ending. After all, it really feels like there's a loose thread here, doesn't there? Something we're supposed to find somewhere in the ship.